What happens when a CEO goes undercover at his own mall to see how his business is really running? When the bright lights and pristine floors of a company's shiny facade hide the truth beneath. Let's dive into this compelling journey and see how the truth unfolds. The morning was crisp, the kind of early fall day that made the trees sway like the world was in perfect balance. Gregory Finch stood before his mirror, looking at himself for what seemed like the 100th time. At 53, Gregory had built Finch Enterprises from the ground up. It started with a single store, a dream in the back of a dusty truck, and an idea that was too big for anyone to believe in. But now, it was one of the largest shopping malls in the state. There was no mall in the area like his, and it boasted a perfect mix of luxury and family stores, cafes, and cinemas. People came from miles away to shop, to feel the allure of what Gregory had built. But that morning, Gregory had an uneasy feeling. He had heard rumors about the behavior of the sales staff. The reviews had been flooded with complaints, some even claiming that staff treated shoppers like a nuisance. As CEO, Gregory had always been the face of the company, charismatic, larger than life, and connected. But he never spent enough time on the floor. Sure, he'd been to meetings, watched the numbers rise, but did he really know how his customers felt? Did he understand the lives of the people behind the reviews? That day, Gregory made a decision. He would go undercover. No one would know who he really was. He would become just another customer in his own store, blending into the crowd, watching his empire from the inside. He grabbed a simple navy hoodie, a pair of jeans and sneakers, nothing too flashy. His appearance, compared to his usual designer suits, was unassuming. He'd told no one. His assistant, Linda, was busy with meetings, and the rest of the management team wouldn't miss him for a day. As Gregory stepped into the bustling mall, the air felt different. It smelled of fresh coffee, popcorn, and the faint scent of leather from the high-end store at the corner. The echoes of footsteps bounced off the marble floors, but Gregory wasn't here for the luxury. He was here for the people. He began at a department store, pretending to browse, shifting through clothes on the racks. He noticed how fast the sales staff were moving, barely glancing at the customers. One of them, a young man named Jacob, passed by without a word. Gregory smiled to himself. It was clear that the usual customer-first attitude was not in play. As Gregory made his way through the mall, he saw more of the same. People were ignored, brushed aside, and left to wander without a hint of assistance. A father with his son walked into a shoe store, and Gregory overheard the exchange. "Can you hurry up?" the saleswoman snapped. "I have other customers to deal with." The father, clearly embarrassed, nodded and apologized. Gregory's heart sank. He had built this place to be a haven for families, to be a space where everyone felt welcomed. But this wasn't what he had envisioned. It wasn't just poor service. It was a lack of respect. Feeling the weight of the situation, Gregory walked further down the hallway, his mind racing. The twists of this day were becoming more apparent. This wasn't just a minor issue. It was something deeper, something he had overlooked for too long. Suddenly, Gregory's thoughts were interrupted by the sound of a loud voice coming from the food court. "Hey, buddy, over here!" A man with a heavy beard and a red cap waved from behind the counter of a fast food joint. Gregory walked over, his curiosity piqued. "What can I get you?" the man asked, already pulling out a tray of fries. Gregory smiled. "Just some fries, please." The man took a step back, his expression suddenly changing. "Wait a second." His eyes widened as he stared at Gregory. "You're Gregory Finch, aren't you?" Gregory froze. For a moment he considered making a quick exit, but then he realized this was exactly the kind of honesty he needed. "Yes, I am," Gregory said, his voice steady. "And I need to ask you something. How do you feel about working here?" The man's face softened. "Honestly, it's tough sometimes. People look down on us. They think we're just here to serve, like we don't have a life of our own. The managers treat us like numbers, and they don't care about how hard we work. But you've built something amazing here. I just wish the people at the top would see it." Gregory's heart clenched. He had never considered how his employees felt, how they were treated by the very management he trusted to run his empire. There were cracks beneath the surface, and he had ignored them for too long. The twist came not long after Gregory left the food court. As he continued his undercover investigation, he decided to step into a luxurious jewelry store, thinking he might find a better experience there. But the result was even worse. A woman walked in, clearly a regular customer, and Gregory overheard a conversation between her and one of the staff. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but we have a policy about, well, we don't normally give discounts unless you're a frequent buyer." The staff member's tone was cold and dismissive. The woman, taken aback, replied, "I've bought from you before. I've been a loyal customer for years, and this is how I'm treated now?" Gregory could feel the tension in the air. It wasn't just a disagreement. It was a clash of expectations, a failure to understand the people they were supposed to serve. He could see the hurt in the woman's eyes. What struck him even harder, though, was the realization of just how far the divide between the top and the bottom had grown. The corporate world, the systems he had put in place, had become a machine, an unfeeling, detached system that cared only for its bottom line. The final twist, however, came when Gregory visited a small electronics store that had been struggling. As he walked through the aisles, he overheard a young man, probably in his 20s, speaking with a customer. "Sorry, ma'am, but we don't have that in stock right now. If you want, we can order it for you and have it shipped to your house," the employee said. The woman nodded, smiling. "That's okay. I'll wait for it." Gregory, who had been watching from a distance, couldn't help but be impressed by the kindness in the employee's voice. There was a warmth, a genuine desire to help that had been absent from every other interaction he had seen that day. This young man, Derek, was different. He didn't treat customers like transactions. He treated them like people. Gregory approached the counter, his voice soft but steady. "How long have you worked here, Derek?" Derek turned, surprised. "About a year now, sir. I've been walking around the mall today, and I've seen a lot of things, a lot of mistakes being made," Gregory said, his voice quieter now. "But you're doing something right. I just wanted to tell you that." Derek looked down, a little shy. "Thanks, sir. I just try to treat people like I'd want to be treated. I know things can be tough, but I think everyone deserves a little kindness." Gregory nodded, feeling a swell of pride. This was the heart of what his mall was supposed to be about, a place where customers felt respected, where employees felt valued. It was clear that some of his employees understood that, even if others didn't. As Gregory left the mall that day, his mind was racing. He had uncovered a truth far more powerful than any number or spreadsheet could show. The disconnect between the corporate world and the people on the front lines was staggering, but it wasn't too late to fix it. He could make changes, start small, and create an environment where both customers and employees felt seen and heard. In that moment, Gregory Finch realized that success wasn't just about numbers. It was about heart. And that day, he vowed to bring that heart back to Finch Enterprises. That's the story, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure sharing it with you all. Don't forget to comment below and let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see the global reach of these stories. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories, tips, and tricks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. If you'd like to show some extra love, tap the 3 dots near the share button and send a super thanks.